Poem 3, Keeping Quiet. Before we get into this poem, I want to say something. You must have seen this sign in IPL matches. Those who follow cricket would be knowing this. What is this? It is called strategic timeout. Why do we have that? You may say to devise a strategy. But then strategies were already framed before the start of the match. Yes, when we are in a motion, many a times the things go in a different manner. And then whatever we had planned may not work at that time. And if we take a break, if we reassess the situation, we may come out with a solution which can be more effective and a better one. That's what is the basic essence of this particular poem. That is keeping quiet. The poet advocates us to take some break, assess the situations around us, see the pros and cons of whatever actions we are taking, and then move ahead. Let's move into the poem to have it in a better manner and actually enjoy the poem. Let's see how it is. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. The poet asks us to have a pause for 12. We need to count 12. Now here 12 can be the 12 numbers on a clock, the 12 zodiac signs that he may be mentioning, 12 months he may be mentioning. For that matter, it can be anything. But the basic essence is taking a break, a pause. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. The poet asks us that let us pause for a moment and let it be by all. Just imagine how the situation will be. No noise, complete silence. This will be an exotic place, never before experienced. And let's not move our arms much. Be standstill at one place, wherever we are. It would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engines. We would be all together in a sudden strangeness. Everybody will be standing still, no actions. Wherever they are stationary. This will be an out-of-the-world experience, and without any differences, we will all be in the same plane, talking the same language, listening the same language. Name of that language is silence. And that's how we all will be bound together in oneness. And definitely, this will be a sudden strangeness which we have never experienced. The poet wants us to experience this. And when we are in the state of mind, our mind will start working in different direction. The poet Pablo Neruda proceeds from here. He says, fisherman in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. The people are on a killing spree. We have animals put in endangered species categories, and many of them have already become extinct. Why? Because of the greediness of man. The man, for his greed, kills the animal so that they can derive materials for his own benefit. When the people, when the fisherman will consider this, that how these whales are endangered, and they will realize the importance of these whales, they will stop killing the whales, and thereby the whales population can increase. Similarly, the poet Pablo Neruda also talks about the people who gather salt. They are so poor and emaciated. They are daily wage earners. They work today, earn today, spend today. Tomorrow is a new day for them. They work so hard that by the time the night falls, they are too tired to take care of themselves and they sleep off. Morning again is a new day, new struggle, new actions. Day in, day out, they gather salt, least bothering about the hands which are getting hurt. And by the time they realize it, it's too late for them to mend that, to tend them. Had they taken a break in between, they would have taken care of their hands, they would have applied some medicines, and they would have lasted longer. This you can relate with the lives of the children who are working in Firozabad bangle making factories. They keep on working, and by the time they become adult, they face the reality of life. Their eyesights are lost. Had they considered the blurring images as an issue at the beginning itself, they might have applied some external help like spectacles and had a longer eyesight life. So, a right step at the right time could last longer. To put it in another ways, a stitch in time saves nine. A stitch at the right moment could save 9 people. That's how the English idiom goes. Moving on, the poet says, those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. So here the poet talks about the people who indulge in wars. They do all sorts of war, whether they are biological warfares, whether they are gas, wars with gases, wars with firearms, and at the end there is one victorious side and another loser. But the side which experiences victory also is not in a position to experience happiness because there are casualties on their end also. So it doesn't serve any purpose as such. And when they will realize this, they will leave those army uniforms, put on the clean clothes, make everyone brothers. As we know in Sanskrit it says, Vasudev Kutumbakam. The whole world is a family and all are brothers and sisters. And they will walk together in the shade. Over here in the shade means in the civilian times, not war times. Doing nothing. Doing nothing over here means not waging the wars. In fact, living peacefully and for the upliftment of mankind on a whole. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Having continuously advocated about taking a break, the poet himself takes a break and realizes that his readers may misunderstand him, that the poet is telling them to stop working, not to do anything. So he corrects himself, he warns us, and what he says is he is not advocating total inactivity. In fact, he says life is what it is about. Life is all about liveliness. Life is all about living. That's what he says. I want no truck with death. He doesn't want people to die idly. He doesn't want people to disappear from this world without being noticed. He wants everyone to do something which will create some value for the people of the world. If we were not so single minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt the sadness of never understanding ourselves and threatening ourselves with death. Poet Pablo Neruda says that if we were not so single mindedly in one direction only, and if we can look around the things, we will see there are various ways available to us. There are various use of colors available to us. There is a lot of opportunity all over the places, and this is what will make people happy. This is what will make people excited. This is what is going to spread enthusiasm, which will disappear, which will remove, which will dissociate all the sadness, and even death will be embraced by all. This is what he wants. He wants people to die very happily. Further down, the poet gives one more example from the nature. He says, perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. We see winters are very deadly in northern hemisphere. This life almost comes to standstill. The movement is restricted. It's a kind of death scenario. But immediately after that comes spring with lot of bloom, lot of scent, lot of flowers, colors and everything. So the break of winter gives recharged spring. Similarly, in temperate and tropical areas, summers are very hot. Again, there is standstillness during those times, which is followed by monsoons, which means life. Lot of life come into existence. Lot of greenery is seen all over the places. So here also, the earth also takes a break, either in the form of winter or in the form of summer, and bounces back like spring or rainy season monsoon. So we can learn from the earth also that taking a break at the appropriate time, in fact, rejuvenates us, and we can bounce back with double the energy. At the end, the poet Pablo Neruda says, now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I'll go. He feels that he has conveyed his point, and then you are going to follow that. And that's how his purpose of making you aware of this particular thing about life is served. So he is leaving. Thank you.